The Academic Goals and Instructional Improvement Committee will come to order. Ms. Davis.
Roll
Go
call.
ahead, roll call.
Ms. Beebe.
Present.
Ms. Beebe is present. Ms. Bophy.
I'm here, but I'm not feeling any love.
Ms. Bophy is present. Ms. Bradford.
Present.
Ms. Bradford is present. And just for the record, Ms. Bophy, I love you. Mr. Garvey.
Present, and I did wear my deodorant today, so I'm feeling a little bit of love by me.
Mr. Gio. Ms. Hill.
Present.
Ms. Hill is present. Mr. Lee. Dr. Moranti.
Present.
Dr. Moranti is present. Ms. Orange Jones. Mr. Romer. Mr. Wagaspack. Mr. Nakan.
Present.
Mr. Nakan is present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. First item.
Your consent agenda is ready for approval, adding item 2.1 and pulling item 4.1 because of public comment.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Next item. Oh, any opposition to the motion? Sorry. Hearing none. Next item.
First item is item 3.1, page 2. Consideration of approval of non-public school academic classification. The department recommendation is to approve.
So approved. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any opposition? Hearing none. Motion approved.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I was going to say any discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
I just have a question for Superintendent. As I was going over the material, my concern is how would the schools that we approve based on those who are accredited approved schools versus those who are non-accredited approved schools impact those students that are currently in the scholarship program? So say if a student is at a non-accredited approved school, would that impact their return to that school for the next year? I mean, how would that's my concern in reference to, I don't want to see the children bounced around place to place.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. That the schools that are accredited from an independent agency get automatic approval. The schools that do not have an independent accreditation are reviewed first through a survey and then through a department site visit to verify the information on the survey. There were a set of schools. One was unable to meet the criteria for participating in the scholarship program, so they were not actually even granted eligibility as a non-public school. 3 schools maintained their eligibility status but were not allowed to accept new students in the scholarship program. But no student that's in the scholarship program was moved as a result of any decision here.
Okay. And I guess moving forward, because when you look at most of the students that are currently in the scholarship program, you have a good majority of them that are probably currently in non-accredited approved schools. But you have more of the students are in the accredited approved schools. So what I'm seeing from what I've read the information is there a divide in reference to we're supposed to give parents choice. So according to the scholarship program, we're giving parents, okay, you have a choice to attend what school on the list that you choose. But if the school is on the parents approve a school that's on a non-accredited approved school, and for example, if it's one of those schools that you just mentioned, I don't know, I'm just saying hypothetically, that child would not have that choice to attend that school. So I'm trying to see where is the choice, because most of the schools that I see that are considered accredited approved schools are in the Catholic diocese district. So I'm trying to see, no discrimination.
You can go to all those schools. In other words, even if they're not accredited, you can still go to the school. All it takes is just the department going out and accrediting the school. So in other words, you're right. The diocesan schools are all accredited, and there's some others that are accredited. If a school is not accredited, we can still allow it to participate. We just go to the school and do a visit ourselves to verify that the survey is complete. Okay. And so no child is denied a choice based on whether the school is accredited or not.
Okay, so even if you guys, for example, you stated three of the schools that you visit would not be able to receive any new scholarship students? to my understanding.
Correct.
But if a parent selected as a choice, as a department, you're going to tell their parent that child cannot attend that.
Well, there are some basic issues, like, for example, the fire code only allows a certain number of students to be in the building, for example. The building only has a certain number of classrooms. You know, it's basic nuts and bolts issues like that, that it's not that we're going out and saying, well, we think that this way of teaching reading is not right. It's really basic nuts and bolts issues that are prohibiting it. And so in some cases, yes, we said no, you know, there can be no new student choosing this school. But to your original question, no one's going to be moved around by way of this.
Okay, and finally, and I guess I'm going to speak from those who I've met within the community as far as pastors and ministers throughout my district, which I thank God I don't have that many issues like New Orleans, but one of their concerns is that, and I've had this conversation with Bayo, you know, you have a group of minority students that are being forced to go to Catholic school when they may opt to want to go to one of their non-traditional, non-public schools. And so I just want to make sure that there is a fair chance across the board that all of these schools are being looked at and given the same opportunity, whether it's Redemptorist versus Mount Pilgrim. I'm just using that for an example when it's dealing with our children and the culture of the children. So I just want to make that point as well. And I notice most of the schools that are non-accredited falls in that category of the Catholic schools.
True, and then now they could take the choice to be accredited, you know, so they could make that choice. And all we're saying is if they don't want to do it, that's fine. We'll just come out and do it ourselves. That's all.
Okay, I just want to make that point.
Ms. Phoebe?
Yeah, well, Superintendent White, so the non-accredited approved school, do you notify the parents that they're non-accredited? Do you have that conversation with them?
No, it's listed publicly as part of the information that's shared about it. We don't call them or anything, but that's listed publicly, yes.
Okay, and so basically that is based on, you know, like the leadership as it's clarified here.
Yeah, the accreditation comes from SACS.
And I'm familiar with SACS.
I know you are. So, you know, some of the schools like Redemptorist, for example, that Ms. Hill mentioned, is SACS accredited. There are other schools that may not be accredited by an independent organization like that. What we do is ask them to fill out a survey about basics, as you say, leadership, professional development. And then we go and we verify that what was on the survey in fact is in place, and then we effectively give them our own seal of approval, our own accreditation. Now, the accreditation that the other schools receive is from an independent organization. We don't do that with those schools. We don't go there and visit them.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to commend the department for, I know this process is something that we voted on previously, but looking at the number of schools and thinking about the fact that there's 261 before us, so that you were able to narrow it down to a manageable group so that you could have a meaningful process in terms of accrediting those that were, or approving those that were non-accredited. I think that's bode really well, so thank you.
Thank you. The team's done a great job.
And this was a process that you guys just started this year, because previously, these schools was not required to be SACS accredited, correct?
Yes, no school was, we didn't really look at SACS accreditation.
Correct.
You're right, yeah.
Correct.
Now, I give a lot of credit to Marion Schutt and Adam Hoff and Dave Lefkowitz. They did a great job putting this process together. But one of the smart things they did is, you know, why reinvent the wheel? If they're already being accredited, why should we go out and accredit it ourselves?
Any other questions or comments? Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is item 4.1, consideration of a status report on the Special Education Advisory Panel that's on page 7. The department recommendation is to receive.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Thank you. A second? I need a second on this motion. Thank you. We have, does the board have any question or comments? If not, we have one speaker, Ms. Lee Barrios. Thank you, Ms. Barrios. Any Other comments? Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item.
Excuse me, but can I get clarification, please, on the non-public school academic classifications? Ms. Bofi mentioned 261 schools, but I believe one school was eliminated. Okay, so which school was eliminated, Bridget? Because I don't want to approve this list because it has the 61 on the list. Sorry.
We have informed your staff of the school that was removed. When we deleted it from the backup, the way that we deleted it didn't change the numbers. So when you look through, there should be a number missing on the side. The total is 260.
Okay, so it's 260 schools, even though it says 261.
Correct, but yes.
Okay, thanks.
And before you leave, can I ask you for a second too? What is the little, like the C and the AG behind the school? Can you just clarify what that is?
Those are the religious affiliations of the school.
That's what I was.
C is a Catholic school. The others, there, I believe we have, I think we have archdiocesan or diocesan schools, archdiocesan schools. There are abbreviations there.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right.
Yeah, thanks, son.
Next item.
Next item is on page 25, item 5.1. Consideration of repealing Bulletin 124, Supplemental Education Services. The department recommendation is to approve as a notice of intent.
I need a motion on this, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Mr. Gao. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Garvey. Any questions or comments?
This is a program that was set up as required in NCLB, SES, which those of you who have worked in the districts are very familiar with. It was a requirement that districts perform specific supplemental services. As part of our ESEA waiver, the federal government has said you're no longer required to do that. So low-performing schools are no longer required to use 20% of their Title I dollars, for example, on SES. They can do with it what they choose. We are requiring that low-performing schools allow for school choice and allow for kids to go elsewhere. And districts can choose to do SES, and parents can choose to receive SES services through course choice. But in terms of districts being made to do it by us, our ESEA waiver removes that. They can use those funds as they see fit. And this simply repeals the bulletin, therefore, that requires that SES be done.
Any other comments or questions from board members? We do have a speaker, Ms. Farias. Thank you, Ms. Farias. Any other comments or questions? Any opposition to the motion? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is on page 34, item 5.2, consideration of public comments received regarding Bulletin 135, Health and Safety, and revisions to Bulletin 135, Health and Safety, Section 305, Administration of Medication, and 307, Diabetes Management and Training. The department recommendation is to receive the summary of comments and approve as a notice of intent.
So
Yep.
moved.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Bofi. Any comments or questions on this item?
I would I'd like information on how the process works.
Sure, and Ms. Devlin can help me out a little bit on this, but this was coming out of a legislative session. This was authorized by or sponsored by Senator Nevers. It authorizes schools to use unlicensed diabetes care assistants. And in doing that, that would provide care to students in the event that a nurse cannot be at the school during the school day or a nurse is not attending the student at that time. The legislation requires that the policy that allows non-certified, or I should say unlicensed employees to do that has to come along jointly with the Board of Nursing. So the Board of Nursing had to pass this policy in concurrent with the department. The board did that at their meeting earlier this month, I believe, right?
Last week.
Yeah, this week. So that really is the change. I mean, the main changes to our policy are adding the language or other authorized healthcare prescriber to the administration of medication section to include unlicensed diabetes care assistants. So this adds a kind of second class of employee who is able to administer treatments for diabetes to such students in response to concerns that if there isn't a nurse available, then you are in a problem situation.
Any other questions or comments? Did that answer your question?
It sure did, and I just want to take a point of personal privilege, if I
Sure.
can right now, and recognize Mr. Nakhan, who has hung on with us for a very long day. So I saw you sitting in that audience, and I appreciate you being so patient with us, so thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Go Tigers.
Definitely.
We have a motion. Yes, we do. We have a motion on the floor. Any opposition? Motion carries. That concludes our agenda, and that concludes our day.